All right, welcome to episode 2 of Big Iron Moto TV.
Back it up!
Along the trend of episodes about kind of everything and nothing, today I'm going mountain biking, but before I get into that, I'm going to take you to yesterday when my sons and I went out to go for dunes. We tested out the new suspension that the boys had done. So I sent off their suspension to S, where I got all my suspension done. Highly recommend those guys. Joe and Colt at S do such a great job. For the mini stuff, which the kids' bikes are, Colt does all of that out of the Go for Dunes location. For the adult stuff, I send that off to Joe Skid. So anyway, you'll see my sons testing it. They absolutely loved it. I've never seen them in such control. They felt great on the bikes, and I could see that. And I was pretty sure that it's the fastest I've ever seen them both on a track. So unfortunately, they're not the most talkative, so you won't get the most detailed, in-depth review of how the suspension felt, but you should be able to see some of that performance in some of the short clips I got. Then we're going to get into some mountain biking. But before I do, I thought I'd recommend a really good podcast. So I'm listening right now to Gypsy Tales on Cooper Webb. And I've always been a Cooper Webb fan, but this podcast, I didn't know that much about his life, but really inspiring because you listen to all these riders or watch all these riders, and you just think that they come from pure talent and unlimited resources and factory teams, and that's why they are the rider they are. But in reality, and Cooper's is a really good story of that. I mean, Cooper came from blue-collar working family, much like myself, came from nothing and built his way up through just grit, determination, sheer will, and setting goals for himself in becoming a champion. And more as I get older in life, I realize that that is what it is very much about. Is, you know, it comes down to just a basic principle of setting goals and hard work, and a realization of what it takes to get there. And that kind of comes with the hard work. But, you know, when you set a goal, if you are determined enough to get there, the hard work kind of evaporates because you just see it as part of the process and you just assume all that needs to be done to get there. And, you know, I've seen that a lot over the past couple of years with my riding and sort of setting these expectations of myself and thinking, you know, not just thinking, knowing I can do this. The only question then it becomes for me is, do I want to put in the work to get there? And for me, I know, for example, I can finish Red Bull Romaniac Silver Class. The question is, will I put in enough work and effort and time to do it? I mean, all of this, of course, like anything, is barring unforeseen circumstances like bike malfunctions and failure and everything like that. But, you know, you have to be willing to say to yourself, I can do this, I will do this, and then just having the grit to get it done. And I'm hoping that as we watch more of these episodes, this will be a realization of that and hopefully a real manifestation of what it is that I'm talking about. So I hope you'll enjoy the episodes to come. This one's just going to be me out on the mountain bike. I thought I'd film some of that today. I'm at Jefferson Forest at Oak Ridge's Corridor. I come here a lot to train. Mountain biking is such a great way of training. I thought you'd take along on that. It's more of a fun day for me. I didn't bring my my sort of high performance racing XC bike, and instead I brought my super fun, still a great bike, but more of a fun all mountain bounce around and have a good time kind of bike. So we'll get out there and get some good trail riding in, and I hope you enjoy this episode of me just goofing around. Busy day. Yeah. All set? Testing your new suspension? Yeah. It's busy. Look at this. All right, we made it to Go for Dunes. It's gonna be a good day. It's packed. and we're going to be testing out this new race suspension on these bikes. Both Kai and Kaz both got their bikes tuned up by SSS. Ta-da! Race suspension, and they're going to tell me how it's going to go today. I think it's going to be a good day. Weather's perfect. Lots of people out on the track today. So let's get dressed and get out there. Get these on.
Thankfully you didn't bring your bike.
All right, I'll try and get yours started first, Kai. All right, see? Feels good, hey?
Yeah.
It's a lot better rebound. Before, the rebound was really slow on it. And now, do you know what rebound is? Rebound is how fast it comes up. So when you go down, how fast it comes up like that. That's your because rebound, right? This is your compression, up and down. Compression, rebound. Compression, rebound. Okay, so we'll turn on your gas, choke. Hopefully we don't need a new spark plug because this one always...
You would keep the choke on?
No. I'm gonna just get it started and then I'm gonna turn the choke off. Let's hope this works. Oh yeah, fire! Now, because it's new suspension, I want you to do many warm-up laps for you to get used to it. This is a whole new system. What Cole did at SSS is he took out all the components and changed it around so that it's going to be much more responsive, but you're going to feel in greater control, okay? And same with the rear, it's going to feel a lot better. I think you'll find it a lot better off the jumps.
Okay.
So, but just take it easy until you get used to it.
Okay.
And, but yeah, this is I think the best suspension you can get for these bikes. So, short of going to a whole new cone valve system. Okay. Come on. Come on. I think where you're going to feel it most is you're going to find it tracks really well in the whoops, and you're going to find that when you come off of jumps, you're going to be like, whoa, it just kind of lands very plush. If you feel it's too soft, then let me know, okay? Definitely a busy day out here. One of the neat things about springtime at the tracks is that it's like the great equalizer because everyone from all classes comes to ride here. There's no races going on here with Cass. So you get everyone out here, all classes. Usually people are booked up with races and all sorts of commitments planning out their season, but in the spring you get to see all the top riders around coming out practicing together. It's really cool, especially for the kids to try and pace some of the others and see what they're capable of. But it's a busy track and the boys are doing really well, seem to be coming along to their new suspension. I can see right now, especially on Kaz's gas, it's making a huge difference. There he is there. You can seem like he's in a lot more control and seems a lot more confident out there. And same thing for Kai, there he is, ripping along. He definitely seems to be way more in control than he has been in the past. So what do you think? 0 to 10, how much of an improvement?
Like 8.
8? Whoa, there you go, Colt. You did it. One of the things I thought you might find is interesting is check out, this is a media mod with this Rode wireless lav mic. You can see here, right? And this is a gift that my wife got me for Christmas, and I'm going to try it out. I think the sound is great, and I highly recommend it. They're not too expensive, and if you do a lot of vlogging, then it's really good for that. So yeah, I'll show you again. Here it is. Here, you got to buy this media mod for the GoPro, this thing here, and then it mounts with a hot clip or cold, I can't remember what they call these things. And then you got this lav mic right here that sounds good. All right, and hopefully it stays on for this ride. Sometimes I'm just like, can't you just go for a bike ride without like cooking yourself up into being a cyborg? I've got my heart rate monitor, my Garmin on, everything that you can possibly imagine here. The standard mount doesn't fit, so I have to try and see if this guy fits, like an extended one. Thankfully, I have like a million of these things in here, but I had to go through a bunch of them to figure out what actually worked on the way I configure this on my chest mount. So this squarish extender bracket seems to do the trick with the media mod that you need to use this Rode lav mic. It's like a good lesson on making sure all your stuff works before you go out for a ride, rather than figuring it all out in the parking lot. Season episode 2 is just extreme parking lot filming. Okay, the cyborg's finally ready to go. Set my Strava up. Record, record, record. Okay, let's do it. Starting ride. Let's go. It's a beautiful day. Awesome, awesome day. I can't believe that we went from like 8 degrees to feels like 21 or more. It's just, oh, hey there. Anyway, it's nice to be back, getting some sunshine, training, and I love these trails for that. Nice thing about mountain biking, and I think a lot of racers don't realize, is that for training, you really have to be selective with your lines, far more than in dirt biking, because in dirt biking you can just use the power, suspension, and weight of the bike to get over everything, whereas with mountain biking, you're paying attention to the things you should be paying attention to in dirt biking, and that is momentum, traction, lines, and things that if you can dial those together into your dirt biking, you're really going to succeed. So I love mountain biking for that, because the light weight nature of the biking and the sensitivity really reminds you of how much difference small changes and improvements can make in your riding. And if you can transfer that into your dirt biking, then you're going to notice some big gains. Coming up to a good section that'll show you what I was just talking about insofar as the importance of things we don't pay attention, and that is balance, momentum, and line. So here, a lot of dirt bikers would sort of slow down and just kind of throttle it right here. But as you saw with that, just like on a dirt bike, if you don't have enough momentum, you're just going to spin out. You're not going to actually get up those hills. So momentum will save you 95% more of the time than traction ever will. I don't care what your tire is. I don't care, you know, how good you are at paddling. If you can keep momentum, you're going to be able to get up stuff that you couldn't dream of trying to start it from the beginning. And mountain biking is a really good lesson on that, because you realize that there's no way you're going to be able to pedal up some stuff. But if you have momentum, you can kind of roll your way up almost anything. And a lot of the times, I'm actually not pedaling as I get up these hills. And it's almost the same with dirt biking, because every time I give it throttle, I'm in the back of my mind thinking I might lose traction. If I'm not giving it throttle and my engine's just rolling, then I know I'm going to be able to keep going until that gift is run out. Oh, that was a good example of why I should have had more momentum there.
I didn't realize it's coming up and I was in too high of a gear. Whew. And as you can hear, pretty darn good cardio workout too. Another one, if I stopped at the bottom, there's no way you'd be able to paddle up this. Not a chance. In fact, you might not even get up on a dirt bike. But if you send it and you put all those dollars in your momentum bank, I got up that in 2 pedal strokes. So you just got to commit, keep that momentum going, and basically get over anything. What you're seeing right now is a GoPro chest mount shooting at 24 frames per second in 4K with the super view setting in GoPro. And the reason I like this setting is you get a nice wide view. You can see what the bike is doing, mountain biking, dirt biking. I've played with the setting on my helmet in the past, but many things are wrong with that. One is it always gets ripped off. Shooting it on your chin, it looks pretty good, but I find it always gets caught up in my cables on my dirt bike, and I've had a few occasions where it's been pretty life-threatening. So I don't do that, and that's probably the reason why, in part, AMA doesn't allow helmet-mounted GoPros anymore. So combine all those factors, chest mount seems to be the way to go. I notice some pro riders will do similar to a chest mount, like an offset kind of backpack. You'll see some of the pro riders like use it almost like a side, and that looks good too. But I like the setting. The reason I like 4K, obviously, is much better quality, better colors. The other thing you want to do if you're shooting on a GoPro that allows it is set your bit rate quite high. So there's a low and high bit rate setting. That's going to allow you to get much richer and smoother shots when you're doing post. And I like 24 frames per second for the everyday shooting because it gives that nice cinematic smooth look. If you're shooting 60 frames, it's great for action sports, but it gives it a bit of a choppy look that I don't really like. I think I might have come to the end of this journey. But for those of you who don't know, the higher you shoot in frame rates, the better you can slow it down without it looking unnatural. So if I know that I'm going to be slowing down a shot, then from the get-go I'll shoot in either 120, 60, sometimes even 240. But keep in mind that the higher the frame rate, so you may think, well, I'll just shoot everything in 240 and then I can slow it down if I want. Problem with that is your shutter speed, you know, by definition, is moving way faster and it doesn't bring in as much light. So what happens is in low light, even like this, 240 wouldn't look very good. And so you're gonna get kind of a choppy, granular, you'll see that a lot on YouTube videos where it looks pixelated. So 24 frames per second, super view, 4K is my default. And then for shooting stuff in ultra slow motion, I usually take the camera off and fire it up to 60, which will give me half speed, 120, which is 1/4 speed, and then 240 for 1/8 speed for any type of special shooting I want to do. Oh, okay. So there you have it. A little GoPro lesson as I'm about to veer into trespassing. And just kind of back to the point of techniques for bikes and how much they carry over. So I'm going to show you that momentum again. Just try and get up that right there. Lots of speed, carry it up. And the other thing you want to think about that really transitions well in biking is where your body position is. So a lot of people all the time, when they're riding their dirt bike, they'll get to a hill and they move all the way back and their feet are here and they start paddling because they think they're Jarvis. The difference is Jarvis, when he's doing it, is like this, okay? And when I see most people doing it, they're like kind of like this. And there's no need for that because at this point, the bike will still traction, but your body position is actually preventing that. So back to bicycling principles, you would never be back here trying to pedal up a hill. When you're on a bicycle, you're going to be up here pedaling. You're going to keep your triangle so that your feet are here and the weight is being transferred down over that rear axle. So your body's up here. And you know that riding a bicycle, because if you go back in a bicycle now, you're going to get traction, but the bike just loops out, and that's what it does on a dirt bike too. It's just that you convince yourself it's not, because the power of the bike allows you to do stuff you wouldn't be able to do with your legs. So same principles, when you're climbing, make sure that you keep that forward momentum and keep your body position so that it's right up front. Like, look where I am right here, way up high. And oh, I hit a bit of a mud patch there. But I would never be back here pedaling as I'm trying to get up. I'm always way up on the bike here, right? Trying to get up like this. It's a bit muddy there, but so hopefully that makes the point. But you know, biking, mountain biking really emphasizes proper and poor body positioning. And another good point in mountain biking is you'll see people sitting all the time. And yeah, you sit a lot on a bike, but whenever you get to an obstacle, the first thing you do is stand up on your pegs and level out your pegs. And it's no different on a dirt bike, because if you sit on a bicycle, especially a hardtail, you're just gonna like be all over the place. If you're on a bike and you get up, you're gonna be able to ride over a whole lot of stuff that you wouldn't normally if you're sitting down on your seat, because your seat's just gonna buck you off. And so just like you would never sit while hitting obstacles on a bicycle, especially a hardtail, you don't want to sit on a dirt bike when you're hitting obstacles either. And you want to be standing as much as possible. In fact, the only reason you're typically sitting on a bicycle is only because the seat gives your legs additional drive. Otherwise, if you had the power of throttle, you'd be standing all the time as well, just like downhillers do, because downhillers don't need that drive from their seat. And it's a good example of why see downhillers always standing and never sitting. They're throwing their bike around just like a dirt biker does. Bike training is you can practice all those really trick skills that you couldn't practice easily or without consequence on a dirt bike, right? So you may not want to try this on a dirt bike, but on a mountain bike, as you fall over, so what? The bike's 10 pounds. Even something like this, right? You may not want to try that on a dirt bike, but on a mountain bike, it's just kind of fun. And I guarantee you, if you dial in these techniques on mountain bikes, you will 100% get them on dirt bikes as well. It's the same thing, but just a lot more precise. It's actually easier on dirt bikes. Riding with or trained with, like Chris Birch, Russell Bobbitt, Jared Jonker, they're all exceptionally good mountain bikers. Ooh. And they just come and mess around, and while they're messing around, they're getting in incredible shape and learning the skills that we all need as dirt bikers. So, all right, this is the one. This is the one. Come on, Robo-Show. Come on, let's do it. But I think the problem is I didn't get enough likes on my last episode, so my confidence isn't where it needs to be. But, oh yeah. Woo! All right, so come on, does that not deserve a like and subscribe? That's it, hit the button, hit the button. Woo! Yeehaw! Oh, hikers. Okay, this is one of my favorite trails. I'm gonna let the hikers get out of the way. Okay, here we go. This one's called Yo Mama, really fun one. Whew. I highly doubt I'm gonna be able to beat my top score on this one. Trails are good, but they're not ideal, and I'm not feeling as good as I could. Feeling in shape, but I haven't been mountain biking too much this season, obviously because of the weather. So, plus I usually need someone here pushing me so I can show off. When I was in Sedona, I was riding the 29-inch bike, and this one's a 27.5, I think. And anyway, here's a good example of the hill position I was talking about. Anyway, 29 is nice. It's very good for going fast and tracking. But I really like this smaller wheelbase bike, or wheel size bike, I should say, for tight turning and technical riding. It's just awesome for that. Okay, there's the acid. Whew. Keeping that momentum up, around. Whew. This is always a tricky part here. Like the off camber. Oh, it seems to be tuned in a bit better. Thank you. Yeah. Woohoo! Kids are the best. Come on. Coming through. Thank you. This last hill is tough. There it is. Yo mama. Yeah. Good one. It's a good bike company if anyone wants to. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I just really like them. The owner's name is Miles. Great bikes. He got me. This one here is a Rocky Mountain Thunderbolt C50, and I love it. Just love it. It's so awesome. 27.5 wheels, full suspension, Fox, carbon fiber. Man, does it feel good. Well, I'm all chitty chatty. This is a pre-workout by Havoc 37, and it's quite good. I started taking some pre-workout for dirt in my mouth. Started taking pre-workout for training for Romaniacs, and I found it really helps. I mean, I'm not sponsored by anyone. I pay for all my own supplements and proteins or whatever, but I really enjoy. This is a Havoc 137. It's by Athletic Alliance, and I just got it at Popeyes. It's very good, and it's definitely allowed me to push harder, train for longer, and I don't take it too much, but when I know when I'm going to do some serious training, it just gives me that additional endurance and also a bit of a kick to get up from scrolling Instagram, put my shoes on. My GoPro with me today, and I thought it would be kind of boring just mountain biking, but now that I've got into it, I'm hoping you're finding this valuable, just with some insights and whatever else you get from this, tips or just my random unsolicited opinions on things. I take it or leave it. It's what's been working for me, and you do you. But do, no matter what you do, what you don't have a choice in is subscribing, liking, and commenting. That is hashtag mandatory. Too, like, sort of on the topic of me not can even bring my GoPro. One thing I've really learned over the past 6 months in training for Red Bull Ruminations is that there's very few days where I feel like training. I don't know if there's any actually. Like, we'd always rather just sit on the couch and, you know, scroll Instagram but I'll tell you, just the power of putting your shoes on and lacing them up and taking one step towards a workout has almost always resulted in a great workout. And some of the worst days where I thought, no, today I'm not even gonna put my shoes on. When I just put the shoes on and started jogging, it's very often turned into a personal record. And so don't think of consistency in training as I need to do 5K a day or I want to do whatever by the next month like that. You're just setting goals that your mind is already telling you that's too hard. But if your goal is I'm going to put my shoes on every day and start for 5 minutes, if you quit after 5 minutes, then you've fulfilled your goal. But I trust you, you won't. You go for 10, 20, sometimes 2 hours. And then again, you commit to that goal the next day. I'm putting my shoes on and working out for 5 minutes. Eventually, you're running times that you never thought you'd run, doing things you never thought you did. And it's just that consistency of the smallest effort rather than commitment to an impossible goal. Okay, I just found a really cool obstacle that will be a really good example of how to compress and fire over stuff when you're dirt biking. Just so you know, I'm now shooting in 120. I'm hoping this will capture it. And the great thing about this lav mic is I can go away and you can still hear me. All right, so here's the thing. As I'm coming into it, you're gonna see that what I do, and this is exactly like, is I line up, I get my feet over the pegs, and if I have enough momentum, all I need to do is compress down just before the jump, and then as I hit the jump, my suspension is gonna come up, and I'm just gonna roll right over it, so watch. Exact same thing I do on a dirt bike. When people come up to these logs and they think, oh no, I better slow down. You don't have to do anything, just keep moving, get more momentum, and then compress, up, up. And that's it. You're just compressing your bike, keeping your body position in that attack position over your pegs, and you're compressing down and the bike's coming up. Watch my body position. So yeah, hopefully that helps a little. Definitely remembering to take the high line next time. This is usually a really fun, fast downhill, but not so much today. What a change. The trails just 5 minutes ago were beautiful, pretty dry. Now I'm in the middle of an ice field. This area here is usually filled with some top riders sending themselves off these jumps right over here. Massive jumps and really cool stuff to watch, step ups and everything, but conditions are, I guess you could say, sub-ideal for that right now. But it's great stuff all the way along here. Really, really cool. Unfortunately, that tree fell on one of the better jumps. This one here, we saw this guy come down, and is the craziest crash I've ever seen on a mountain bike. He came down off that, flew over that, was like up probably 30 feet and just full face plant. I thought he killed himself, but he got up. He used his super vet powers, older guy, and just walked it off. I think he was more embarrassed than anything. But yeah, that was epic. But yeah, this step up's crazy, and this whole area here is awesome. Jefferson Forest in off Stouffville Road, Richmond Hill area. And we come here all the time to train, so hit me up if you ever want to go for a ride. Okay, let's do it. This would be a good one. I love this one. Great.
I just wanna have fun,
roller
clap my
coaster
hands, turn around now and dance. I just wanna have fun, clap my hands, turn around now
Thread
and
the needle.
dance. I just wanna have
It's
fun,
like
clap my
off-road.
hands,
Take your
turn
hands out.
around now and dance.
Except I'm not running flags right now. Not that they help that much. So that's another debate. Flags or wraparounds. Well, I used to run wraparounds, and definitely more durable for your bike. And one thing I find that it really compromises the flex of your bars, and it feels very clunky, and it just takes away from what I find the sensitivity and performance of your bike. So while you might bash your fingers a little bit more, if you have more control, hopefully you don't need to worry about that. But even with that additional protection, one thing you have to be really careful about with wraparounds is if you go over the bars, you might get your hands stuck down in them. And I know a few people that this has happened to, where they get their hands stuck, they go over, and the wrist gets fractured way worse than what would be the case if you, hang on one second, that's tough. Way worse than if you wrapped a knuckle or two. So some people make fun of me because they think I'm just trying to be cool, but it really has nothing to do with that. I'm cool enough. Okay, turn it back on. Looks like it might get a bit fun here. Whoa. Ooh, thank you, suspension. Come on, momentum. Oh, damn it. No. Oh, this is hard. See where my body is? Up. Same as if I was climbing on my dirt bike. And now down on my pegs. In control. Elbows out wide. Fingers pointing in. Just like I would on a dirt bike. Nimble. So you can jump stuff like that. It just comes up. Well, I'm running out of GoPro battery and you're running out of attention. So hope you enjoyed this next episode of Figure on Moto TV. And yeah, catch you on the next one. Woo!